TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install smarter.
The second half underway. The temperature has dropped below 90 to 89. It might have been closer to nuclear in the U.S. dressing room. Phil Shane alongside Jovan Karofsky, and the U.S. off to a quick start. Honduras was looking forward, but now it's Pulisic. Tried to corkscrew that one in the middle, but it's headed away for the throw-in. Jovan, what do you think? And I'll give you a chance as the U.S. looks to get in the box. Bruce Arena said. Lifted in and grabbed by Lopez. Was it breaking the teacups against the wall, or was it patting on the back and saying we can still do this?
No, I think he probably wanted to throw teacups, but he didn't. He's more controlled. I think he sees it. It's 1-0. We had a good start. First 15-20 minutes. Momentum changed, but we're in this game. 1-1 is a good result.
Ellis off the fortunate bounce off of Beasley. Lifts it high. Kyoto harassed by Zusi. Here comes Pulisic on the turn. Not the tallest or strongest, but he is rather wiry. And he comes through and drives forward. A little soft on the pass, though, and no chance for Deuce.
He's so quick off the start. Dangerous. Needs to just make a better pass there on the breaks. Maybe turn it around and keep possession a little bit.
Acosta tried to turn the corner, but couldn't. Now, as someone who came up as a rather precocious youngster at Dortmund yourself, are we asking too much of Pulisic at the moment?
I don't think so. I think he's doing it at the highest level. You see what he does at Dortmund. He's playing consistently. This is the year that's very important for him with the national team as well as his club team. He needs to produce goals and assists. Last year he played consistently, he scored 3 goals, 8 assists, but now it's time to score goals. He needs to produce.
But now on the national team, it's a little bit of a different role. In Dortmund, he's not leading the orchestra. They're asking him to pick up the baton here.
Yeah, so there's more pressure here, higher expectations, of course. But he's shown he can do it. He's very capable.
Well, blasted long. Gazan sending it up. Bekeles sending it back. Acosta tests the right back. A chance here on the break. Lozano thought he was offside, and he was right. He kicks it through. It used to be an automatic yellow, but these aren't your father's referees.
That first half, Honduras was just so dangerous with Ellis, with Kyoto, and even with Lozano. They've been so dangerous in that first half.
No apparent changes to either lineup. Lozano tries to dive around Beasley and initiate contact. Referee saw it all the way. Here's Acosta. Wide for Beasley. Luis Lopez in goal. His 10th cap. Pinto going with the youngster. Bekeles, Figueroa, and Alvarado. Claros and Mejia in the midfield. Ellis, Lopez, and Kyoto behind Lozano. The 24-year-old from La Masia. Brad Gazan in goal for the U.S. It's Zusi, Gonzalez, Beasler, and Beasley from right to left. And they're attacking the Houston Dynamo back. Goes all the way through. Now it's Acosta and Bradley in the middle. Pulisic and Nagbe on the flanks. Dempsey and Morris the spine of the attack.
The U.S. continues to be direct, trying to hit the front. Now they're getting a hold of the ball. But if you're going to be direct, you have to win that second ball and try to keep possession in their half. If not, you got to try to build like they're doing now.
Beasler. And Honduras content to put token pressure and force the long balls. Outside of the boot. Omar Gonzalez keeps it in, trying to patiently draw Honduras out of their shell. However, the clock favors Honduras. Pulisic not happy with that one. Let's take another look at how this goal developed. It's from the midfield in Mejia. And keep an eye on Kyoto wide.
And this is a terrific ball in. He's free. There's no pressure on him. And Lopez plays a great ball in. Great weighted pass. And initially Omar should make that tackle. He doesn't. And Kyoto does the rest with a fantastic finish. Great touch here and great finish.
Now, against Costa Rica, there were questions about Tim Howard's involvement. It's hard to blame Brad Gazan, as this shot basically pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think there's much he can do. He's so close to the goal, Kyoto. He bends it perfectly off the post. If I'm Omar, I'm very disappointed. He needs to win that tackle, the initial tackle when the ball comes by.
And now sportingly rolled out on the far side. Talked about some of the keys to the game, using the home field advantage and weathering a little American storm in the opening quarter hour. Things starting to tilt in Honduras's direction. And now with the goal, they can be patient. Bekeles. Quick feet from Claros. Dances through the challenge. Nagbe left on the ground. Through for Lozano one-on-one. Lozano bobbled by Gazan, but no one charging in.
Lozano just leading that front line, trying to get in behind. He does well with a great run. He hits the shot pretty well too. Guzan expecting to make that save, but he's dangerous getting in behind.
Another chance. Lopez. Wide for Ellis. Again one-on-one with his Dynamo teammate Beasley. Drives to his left. Back comes Acosta, and that's something that might have been lacking against Costa Rica. And again, the U.S. scrambling. Morris nods it down, but he had two men to pass it to. Leaves it close enough for the defense to take it away.
This is where we need Nagbe. The U.S. needs Nagbe, and in the midfield, Bradley with Acosta need to get a hold of the ball and try to keep possession.
Bradley and Jorge Claros with a meeting of the minds. And it looks as though the problem is actually Aguilar. The El Salvadoran referee might be cramping up.
Or he stepped on his toes.
That could be as well. Bradley complaining that the U.S. might have been on the break, but instead it will be a drop ball. Now, Jovan, you've played in conditions like this before. From a playing perspective, we see the shadow sneaking out over. We see the thermometer dropping the mercury down a little bit. But was the damage done in the first half?
Definitely. I mean, the temperature might have gone down a bit, but the damage definitely done. It was so hard to play at these conditions. It takes so much out of you, and especially the players that are coming from Europe.
Which is one reason why Pulisic the only one in the starting lineup.
Exactly, and they feel it the most.
Lopez. Tempting Morris, and then eventually going over to pick it up. 10 minutes ticking away rapidly here. Again, those who do the calculation saying even a loss here in the United States would still have better than a 50% chance to qualify for Russia. But it is a significant drop-off from even grabbing a single point.
I think at some point in the next 5 minutes, the 60th minute mark, you would expect Bruce to make a couple changes. Possibly Bobby Wood coming in just to inject some energy and pace in that front line.
Nagbe sees it poked free. After some early flashes, the Portland Timber creator hasn't created much.
He's been quiet. He had a little brief spell in that first half, but he hasn't been on the ball.
Launch long down the line, again asking Morris to run. Staying with him is Henry Figueroa, but Morris gets there first, hurdles the challenge. A little bit of an awkward chip back to Dempsey, though, and Honduras takes it back. And you hear the bleat of those horns in the stands, grating on the nerves of the U.S. players. But it's a sweet sound for Honduras players themselves. Pulisic harassed again. Back towards goal. Too many options for the defenders. Up steps Bradley, taken down by Mejia, but he wins possession. Acosta upended, a clean challenge right in front of the referee on the ball, he says. Lopez long. And again, testing Beasley. Nagbe back to try and defend. And Beasler steps up to the loose ball. First half they went towards Graham Zusi. Here in the second, They're going to Beasley. Good ball out, though, for Pulisic. And he tries to drive through Alvarado and maybe gets a fortunate foul.
Very fortunate there. Pulisic gets in a situation where he loves running at defenders. He doesn't make a decision early enough and runs into the Honduran.
I've seen George Best make a trap like that. I don't remember that being a foul.
But it's fortunate for the U.S. team in a dangerous area.
So let's see. They need something to go their way. Lopez leaning up against that pipe, trying to mark the wall. If it was a pass, it would be Bradley. Or is it a decoy?
This looks like Dempsey on goal.
Dempsey.
It's a bit far away, but it's enough to definitely get up and down over that wall.
Tied with Landon Donovan at 57 goals for the U.S. Slams it into the wall, and it's kept in play, but a player down who paid the price. It looks like it's the goal scorer. Right on the noggin.
Dempsey trying to get it up and over the wall. He hit it well, but just not high enough.
57 goals in his 139 games. Landon Donovan tied with him at the moment. Almost got it around the wall, but Kyoto the last man. And he'll have to exit since they had to bring the trainers on. And since it was a hit to the head, there should be a little bit of time with him off the side to make sure he's okay. And the U.S. doesn't have any time for sympathy.
The game will start to open up a little bit now as well. You saw in the last 5 minutes, both teams having more space, especially in transition on the break.
The stadium located on the southern edge of San Pedro Sula in the shadow of the Sierra. The U.S. showing some fair play. But now they'll pinch in on the throw-in. Lozano up the middle. Beasley pinching in, and Omar forced to retreat. And a long ball, 50-50 up to midfield. But it finds Pulisic. And he's taken off the ball cleanly by Alfredo Mejia, the Greek-based midfielder, with a brilliant challenge. Up to Lozano now. Pulisic harassing Gonzalez down, but it bangs off the Barca boy. Here's Lozano, lifted, eye on the ball, and Ellis slams into Beasley as it trickles out for the goal kick.
But they're so dangerous, Honduras, when they win the ball with those front four. Ellis has really impressed me. He gets down that right side, always dangerous. Kyoto, Lozano, they fight for every ball, every challenge, and they're making their own luck.
And Omar Gonzalez not bathing himself in glory at the moment. The eyes on the collision, but I think Bruce Arena's eyes were on the awkward clearance that almost led to a Honduran chance. And there's Beasler with his best Jackie Chan impression. Beasley up the line. Nagbe again harassed as soon as he gets it. Credit to Honduras. Whenever Nagbe and Pulisic get the ball on the sidelines, they are quickly closed down.
Yeah, that's very difficult for the U.S. team to get a hold of the ball, get a hold of it in possession. They can't play it around that midfield.
Well, this is interesting. Mention how Jorge Luis Pinto has, shall we say, a rather abrasive personality at times. In fact, there are a couple of players, Mario Martinez, Roger Espinosa, who refused call-ups, but Carlo Costly, who was one of the first, now back in the fold, and the big man on the sideline getting set to check in. 32 goals in his 75 caps. Take a look at the updated standings. Honduras over the United States. Again, for Panama, the chance to climb up and leap over the United States as well. They'll be taking on Trinidad and Tobago later. Check out beInSports.com for more. Head-to-head collision. Referee saying play on. Kyoto pulled down by Acosta. Advantage play. Blast by Lopez. Guzan in the way.
Honduras again, winning the ball, dangerous going forward. At the end, easy save for Guzan, but there's just so dangerous exposing that.
And Zusi still woozily making his way back. You see on the sideline, the U.S. about ready to make a switch. Kyoto again pushed down by Acosta, who might have gotten lucky the last time not to get a card, but not this time.
Acosta comes in, just gives him a little nudge. But Kyoto goes down quite easily there.
Looks like it's Areola on the sideline. That might be for Zusi, who again had that collision downfield, but it might have been a tactical switch anyway as they try and push even more into the attack.
Yeah, I think Areola, he can get up and down that right side. He played wingback when he was at Cholo, so always dangerous going forward. Great on the ball.
How do you feel about him coming back to MLS?
I think we had him in our academy at the Galaxy, brought through our system, went to Cholos, know him quite well, technically very good. I think coming in, he'll make an impact in our league.
And notice it's Beasley that's coming out, and Jeff Cameron about to check in as well. Zusi shaking his head like he appears to be okay. Are they going to go three in the back?
Quite possibly. He could bring Cameron in, go three at the back with Areola on one side. Right now he has Acosta on the left.
So would it be Nagbe or Acosta that comes out?
I would think Nagbe would come off just because of Acosta. He can get up and down, more energy, more of defensive quality.
Now, with the three in the back, it allows Zusi and Areola to push up. But this is a U.S. team that needs a goal desperately. And they only have one substitution left if they do make this move. Up steps Beasler, pays the price, but he does win the foul, and it will make time for Cameron to come in.
But I think at this point, I think he has to make a change. The system will help, maybe put more in midfield, try to get a hold of the ball, more possession.
Now, one other note, the fact that DeMarcus Beasley was carrying a caution, maybe making Bruce Arena's job a little easier. And as you see, they have slid Omar into that sweeper role between Beasler and Cameron. Areola back on this right side, and Nagbe staying out there on the left. The errant pass awry, and you can see the fans on their feet. They're going to take Alex Lopez out from the middle, and it will be Carlo Costly checking in. Good game for Lopez. It was his vision that helped create the goal.
Yeah, I thought he played quite well. Getting in between the lines, he created the goal with a fantastic pass. Always dangerous throughout the game. Solid performance by the Honduran.
Didn't get the chance to show it much in Houston when he was there on loan, but through Poland, England, Mexico, China, Turkey, and then back to Olympia, where at the age of 35, scoring pretty much a goal every other game.
And he's a Honduran, he's a fan favorite. He scores goals at Olympia this season, scored a few goals as well, 19 on the season.
Bruce Arena looking on a bit nervously. His job gets even more difficult. Just 2 matches remaining, and the U.S. could find itself in 5th place at the end of this one. Ball in. Costly, his first touch, chips it, looking, but out comes Guzan, and well defended by Omar that time. Here's Cameron. Areola. Pulisic starting to tire.
Every time he touches the ball, the Hondurans are all over him.
And it looks like it is going to be Kyoto who will exit. And another fan favorite and another man with Houston Dynamo ties, Bonya Garcia, will check in. At the age of 32, maybe not as flashy as he was in his youth, but, well, a man named for a World Cup legend, a pretty good player in his own right.
Solid player, keeps hold of the ball, very good in possession, Boniek Garcia.
Tends to be favoring the right side more, so expect to see Ellis on the left, although he does start wide left at the moment. Costly using his height. Cameron challenging.
So Pulisic now more inside with the three in the back, hopefully trying to find him in different areas. Nagbe's inside with Bradley, maybe trying to get hold of the ball, get some possession.
And you see Pinto trying to move the chess pieces around, telling his young striker Lozano what he expects. Cameron hangs it in the air. Out comes Lopez, soaring over Beasler. The United States has not really taken advantage of its set plays tonight.
Not at all. The service hasn't been great. Just not danger enough in the right areas, not hit with pace.
Pulisic challenging, harassing a little too much, said the ref, and he's starting to lose his cool. The U.S. does need to turn up the heat a little bit, but they cannot afford to lose the teenager. High in the air, Beasler lost sight. Gonzalez seems a bit more comfortable in these surroundings. Again, here's how things stand at the moment. Mexico yet to take on Costa Rica tonight. And Panama, well, they'll be hosting Trinidad and Tobago.
The U.S. needs to find Bradley, Nagbe, that central midfield role to get a hold of the ball, keep possession, just to buy some time on the ball so we can isolate Pulisic, isolate Morris.
Arriola with a little shoulder in the back. Again, that first half goal giving Honduras the luxury. They were the team that needed the 3 points even more. -8 when it comes to goal differential, and a much harder close to the schedule in Costa Rica to start the October round, and then closing things out at home against Mexico. But for Bruce Arena, that home match against Panama, then followed up with a trip to Trinidad and Tobago, and you wonder if the thought of calling up Paul Caligiuri crosses his mind.
It could end up being decided in Trinidad for sure.
Lopez seems to be hurt. Emphasis on seems to be. And there are a lot of fans who get upset watching things like this. And again, this is assuming he is not hurt seriously. But it is part of the gamesmanship that's needed to close out victories like this.
Yeah, he could be, but I think he has an issue with his knee, or
that would be a
quad.
big concern.
Yes, definitely would. I think I don't see him wasting time in the 70th minute.
And again, it would be a substitution you do not want to make. Going to a cold keeper. Mentioned that Escobar back from his suspension. They also have the other backup, Ricardo Canales. They're 36 and 35 respectively.
So 2 experienced keepers.
That's a word.
But Honduras have done really well. In the opening 70 minutes, they've controlled the game. They've been on the front foot besides that first 15-20 minute spell. And they've been dangerous. They've been dangerous throughout the match with Ellis, Kyoto, Lopez.
Fans looking on somewhat nervously. They've already used 2 substitutes, Boniek Garcia and Carlo Costly. So if they did have to make the switch, it would be their final change with 20 minutes left And here again, Kyoto in the first half. A game-changing, a cup-changing moment, perhaps.
Definitely a great strike. Luzon couldn't do anything about it. The initial play, Gonzalez needs to make the play on the ball. A terrific finish. Nothing Luzon can do.
A lot of people talk about home field advantage from the fans' perspective. And there's so many more things that go into it. And Bruce Arena pointed out something that when visiting teams come to the United States for the World Cup qualifiers, they're in the five-star hotels, luxury and the like. Now, good accommodations, I'm sure, in San Pedro Sula, but there are accommodations that I'm sure pretty much every fan knew exactly where they were, including the room numbers.
Definitely.
Probably didn't get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, those fire alarms are running off 2, 3 in the morning for sure. Very difficult.
But that's not an excuse.
No, it's not. But you're dealing with those kind of conditions. It's not only the weather, it's not only the field, but the accommodations as well. Everything about it makes it very difficult.
And Luis Lopez not showing much signs of a groin pull or an injured quad there. Rolls it out wide. Bekeles sliding inside. Pulisic starting to run on fumes, perhaps, as just 18 minutes remain. Costly. Back to Claros. Again, Claros will not be eligible for the next match. Trying to beat that back line, and Costly just a little too quick.
The Hondurans are keeping possession. Combination play, trying to get in behind. The U.S. just can't get close enough to the ball. Can't put a foot in, can't get. It seems like the energies, it's tough finding that energy for the U.S. team.
Well, looking at the bench, Fabian Johnson, Chris Wondolowski, Alejandro Bedoya, and Bobby Wood would seem to be the ones that you would consider.
Yeah, I would think.
And it looks like Bruce finished considering. But he's leaving Jordan Morris out there, taking Nagbe out, and going with 2 front runners right now. All cards on the table.
Yeah, Wood will probably go up front with Morris, or sorry, Dempsey. I would expect Pulisic maybe to go wide.
And Morris maybe the other flank?
Yes, possibly.
And starting to build to a crescendo. Wood, the 24-year-old out of Hamburg, his 34th cap. Arreola surrenders his body to get that ball inside, but it was straight to Minor Figueroa. Cameron. Didn't look like it had fully crossed, but Joel Aguilar says throw in. The Stoke man whipping it in. Chance now for Dempsey. Tries to catch it on the volley. A cross for Wood, but blocked away by Henry Figueroa.
And what a great opportunity. The ball just comes off a throw-in. Defender flicks on. This is a fantastic opportunity. Just doesn't catch it right, Dempsey. Going for goal. Just doesn't catch it.
Almost worked into a brilliant pass, but credit to Figueroa defensively. Final quarter hour approaches. Only the second corner for the U.S. and a tangle in the box. 3 Hondurans down and a foul. And more time ticks away. This can be frustrating if you're wearing red today.
Yeah, there's grabbing everywhere. Both teams.
Omar steps up. Cameron dropped back to cover, finds Dempsey. Tries to slot it for Wood, edge of the area, but he left it open, and it's plucked away, and now out to Lozano on the break. Lozano drags past one, and a desperate lunge by Omar Gonzalez maybe makes up for the mistake earlier. Driven inside, but a strong tackle. Looked like GLaDOS just getting the touch.
Very good tackle by Omar. Saved the counter.
Nice by Boniek, in for Costly. It's 4v2 if they hurry. Boniek putting it into gear. Costly in the middle. Boniek Garcia. Settled. Drives, but didn't get all of it. Lozano rolls it into Brad Guzan.
And the game's starting to open up. So much space now with 3 in the back. There's space in the channels. Honduras taking advantage. Garcia with a good ball. Again, first touch is good, just doesn't catch it properly. Guzan with the save.
United States about to fall to 2-2 and 4 in qualifying unless they can find a goal here in the final 14.
So he has Morris out wide on the left, trying to take advantage of his pace. Pulisic underneath Wood and Dempsey.
Luis Lopez. In all honesty, has not been tempted that much and tested even less. Can Acosta tease him off that line from this corner? Third of the match for the U.S. High in the air. Gonzalez nowhere in sight. It was Ellis. And they keep it in play and now drive the other way. However, it looks like the flag came up. Referee waves it off. Lozano in a foot race. Lozano against Bradley. Lozano against Guzan. And on the wrong side of the pipe.
Lozano again threatening that back line. Makes a terrific run. Ellis with a great ball in. Just using his pace. Needs to hit it across the goal, the other side of the far post, but just wide on the near post. So dangerous, the Hondurans on the break.
Something also mentioned your earlier pass through your days at Dortmund prior to that Manchester United, but now you've moved to the dark side, to the front office. And something that has struck me more is the referee going back as Honduras maybe wastes a little time, but Major League Soccer was thought to be a help to the United States, but it seems to have helped almost everyone else in CONCACAF a little bit more.
Definitely attracting top players around the world and specifically in Central America. The value you get there. And yeah, we're helping everybody.
Lozano pushing it wide. Here's one of the MLS stars. Ellis drives to the inside. Just enough of a touch from Omar. But again, straight to a blue and white jersey. Mejia. Another touch. Looking up line, Alvarado. Tackled away at the last moment by Dempsey, but he got more man than ball, says the ref.
Dempsey just catches him a little bit on the ankle.
Well, let me ask you this, as a man who's worn the U.S. colors, chance for Lozano in the midfield. Pulisic scrambling over, but well played by GLaDOS. What goes through your mind when you watch this performance and this scoreline? Chance to the top of the box, poked free by Beasler, but again straight back to Honduras.
Well, you want to obviously support the team, and you hope they can do a little bit better going forward.
A little touch play on. The linesman had a good view. It carries out for the goal kick. Would you say this result is deserved at the moment?
Yes, at the moment it is. Honduras have done a good job. They've frustrated the U.S. team. Offensively, the U.S. can't get anything really going. They haven't had many clear opportunities. And on the other side, again, it's those front four. Ellis, Lopez, he's out of the game now with Lozano and Kyoto. They've been so dangerous. They've been so dangerous on the quick transition.
Well, there's still time. 80th minute. 10 minutes remain in regulation. How much time Aguilar adds, we still don't know, because it hasn't really been blatant time wasting, just enough by Honduras.
And for the U.S., there's time. All they need is one moment, one chance, and they get their point on the road.
And again, with the tiebreakers favoring them, and as Jimmy Conrad mentioned at the half, a head-to-head showdown with Panama next. Dempsey trying to draw a foul, but no sympathy from the ref. Slammed down the line by Mejia. Omar on his horse. Soft pass back. And Kazan, well, the fans might be laughing, but I think he didn't want to blast it.
Yeah, I think he did that. He cut it back on purpose, saw there was no pressure.
And again back to Lopez. Tick, tick, tick. Sidewinder. Costly almost brings it down. Wanted a little bit more help from Ellis, but Honduras can't afford to get caught upfield. Here's Pulisic, and launched into orbit by Figueroa. Pulisic trying to scramble to get this one back in play.
U.S. team still pretty direct, playing long balls into the channel, long balls off the front.
It looks like Johnny Palacios will be the final sub, bringing in an extra defender and taking out his precocious phenom Anthony Lozano. Doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but so many smart runs by the 24-year-old to help open the door.
Yes, he was dangerous throughout the match, very lively. He led the line well, stretched the U.S. defenders, had a few chances as well. Good, solid performance.
Palacios, his 38th cap for the 30-year-old out of Olympia. Now, where will they slide him? Challenging immediately on Dempsey. Out comes Lopez. Again, mentioned only about 5'11", but he got his fists up higher. Bekeles shields Morris well, although it looks like they might say it got touched.
I wouldn't be surprised now the Hondurans defended, played one up front, maybe go back to their 5-4-1 they've used a lot.
Carlo Costly just grab it and hold on. But the U.S. still has to do something with it once they get it. Again, fourth place CONCACAF will play the fifth place Asia. Syria getting a break as Uzbekistan was held to a scoreless draw today, so they grab one of those spots. Australia pipped by Saudi Arabia, who beat their group leaders Japan today. So Australia or Syria awaiting. And again, the U.S. still a chance to finish third and grab that ticket automatically. Pulisic slammed into right in front of the referee, Alfredo Mejia. He was going for the ball, though, so no card.
Here he is. He's still trying to get a hold of the ball. A reckless challenge, a definite foul, but Pulisic still threatening every time he gets the ball.
Maybe a little far for Dempsey, but that won't have him shy away. U.S. doesn't seem to have been drained by the weather that much, but do they have enough to get them to the finish line?
This is where you can use Omar Gonzalez's height. He's 6'4". Maybe try to dump a ball into the back post and have him hit it back across. It's a little bit too far maybe for Dempsey to hit it.
Well, it was a Clint Mathis free kick a couple of ago. That one blasted and slapped away by Lopez as it almost found the net. Still loose in front, and it's knocked home by Bobby Wood. Clint Dempsey creates, but it's Wood that finishes and levels in the 85th.
And Acosta with a terrific free kick. Great keeping by the goalkeeper, parries it out, but Wood, he's been fantastic in Bundesliga. He scored a few goals, and now again he has a nose for the goal. Right place, right time, gets the equalizer, and that's all they needed. The 1 point, they need it.
Well, so many great free kick takers here, and it's Kellen Acosta, the next generation, denied by Lopez, but Honduras could not clear.
And this is a terrific first touch by Wood. Brings it down on his chest in a tight area and quickly puts it in the corner. That's a terrific technique and a good finish.
9th goal for Wood, and maybe none bigger.
And Morris does fantastically well with the little flick on.
So now for the United States. Jordan Morris goes down. They'll be the ones who would be content with the score line.
That's definitely, they've made some chances in the game. Honduras has been on the front foot most of the game, but again, all they need is that one chance, and they did it. They're on the road. Come away with a point is a success.
Again, mention Honduras with no shutouts at home in the Hex in qualifying, and that record still stands, and it might cost them a chance at the World Cup because their next match is in Costa Rica and hosting Mexico.
And this was never going to be a pretty game with the conditions, the weather, the field. A point is good.
And again, Pinto taking out some attackers to put in the defenders, but now they're going to need to push forward. And it's the U.S. that can bleed the clock. What a free kick by Acosta. There's Bradley out there, there's Dempsey out there, there's Pulisic out there, and they let the Dallas youngster take it.
And he scored a few with FC Dallas as well as the national team. He's been known to hit a ball, bend it up and over the wall. He's had a good game today. Early on, he had most of the play in possession in midfield. What a terrific strike.
And while it was a bumpy road to get there, I think Bruce Arena would have been content looking at that table. And again, Panama with a win over Trinidad could jump over the U.S., but those two will face each other in Orlando in October. So the U.S. would still be in the driver's seat. Pulisic stripped away. Good hustle to win it back by Mejia, but then gifted right back. And here is Pulisic. Can they get the full three? Dropped over Bobby Wood, who did not see it in time.
Now, if you're the U.S., you want to drop off, defend. You're happy with a point.
Rolled back. Henry Figueroa.
I'm surprised Wood is pressing on his own. You would think he would be dropped off right now. There's 2 or 3 minutes left in the game.
Well, fresh legs make it difficult to get out of the back.
Maybe.
You have your doubts. Bradley.
Drop off and defend.
Beasler puts it into touch. Now I would imagine there would be at least 3 minutes added on. But we're heading to the 90th. Alvarado. The return to the left back, but Arriola stays back.
And the Honduran team looks much different with Kyoto not out there now.
Off the chest. Back to Mejia. Costly moves to the penalty spot. Back to Mejia. One touch in. Omar slides around Carlo Costly and heads it out to Pulisic. Gets rid of it in time. Wood wrong foots the defender. Back to Pulisic. Tries the back heel, but Henry Figueroa got there in time. The U.S. pushing forward, looking for a winner. And their lungs burning as they try and get back. Bekeles into a more advanced role now. Ellis in for the 35-year-old Costly. Deflected by Bradley. Cameron, but he leaves it in front. Boniek challenging. Garcia going for it, touches it, and it looked like it might have come off Cameron, but it will be a throw-in for the U.S.
Did well, Cameron. Fight off Boniek. The U.S. now looking to try to keep possession, just waste time.
Bruce Arena pacing, waiting for that final whistle. Well, it was 90 minutes that showed there are still things to work on, but a road point in qualifying, a vital point.
They're always ugly. It's never going to be a pretty game from the beginning. They limited the chances for Honduras. And fortunate enough to get the goal.
3 minutes added. Is it enough time for Honduras? Or will it be time for the full 3 points for the U.S.? Arriola keeps his feet. Arriola wide. Pulisic with Wood in the middle. Stops. Chips. Wood just can't reach out. It was Dempsey actually making the run and couldn't bring it down.
And Arriola showing his qualities getting forward. He's been quite impressive since he's come on.
Foul against Acosta, who slid over to that left back spot. Something as well that is worth noting, the versatility he's displayed with FC Dallas, pretty much playing anywhere in the back six.
Yes, he has real qualities. Good technique. Amaro Guevara.
Maybe the next boss of this Honduran side looking on, but the Catrachos trying to catch up again. Nice. Ellis over Acosta, swept away by Arriola. Didn't look like he heard a scream from Gazan and just decided to play it safe.
This is where you really need to focus. A minute, 2 minutes left. Set piece. Stay close to your man. Defend.
Garcia ready to swing this one inside. Near post guarded. 80 seconds remain. Maybe a little bit more than that as the referee clears the deck. Lifted to the edge of the six. Gazan stays back, but a push inside, and the U.S. can bleed the clock, and some extras going on afterwards, and it's going to be a caution against Henry Figueroa, and that's his second if it was. Joel Aguilar. Figueroa appeared to be cautioned early in the first half, and now it looks like the fourth official has brought that to the referee's attention. Number 4, he's confirming, and now Honduras's day gets even worse. Yes, number 4, and Henry Figueroa's day is done.
He's had a decent game up to this point.
And but for a bit of discipline. And you can see they still have 2 games, even if it is against the Ticos and El Tri. And Boniek Garcia saying, we might need you for that last one.
Definitely frustration for the Honduras team. On the front foot most of the game, throughout the game, creating chances.
Well, think about it. Again, this is a team that has made the World Cup the last 2 times, and their game plan almost worked to perfection.
Definitely, they had a good performance. Created so many chances. They're going to definitely be feeling hard done by.
So as Henry Figueroa makes his way, there's likely at least a minute left as Gazan puts this one back in play. The ball out across midfield, and that will do it. Joel Aguilar has seen enough, and so has Bruce Arena most likely. 1-1 the score, and the United States will settle for the point, and for the moment hold on to third. And our Ford man of the match is the one that made that happen. Give credit elsewhere for keeping it close, but only one man put the ball in the net for the red, white, and blue.
Terrific first touch, good finish by Bobby Wood. The U.S. team, they struggled a little bit throughout the match. You're on the road, tough conditions. All you need is a point. It's going to be ugly, but they'll be happy with a point.
And a beautiful finish by Bobby Wood on the scoreboard. Man of the match brought to you by Ford. Frustration for Honduras. The Catrachos so close to taking control of their own destiny, but now they're going to need a little bit of help. And for the United States, 1 point in 2 matches, but they'll take it. 1-1 the final from San Pedro Sula.